Nathan.
No, don't, please, Dad, no, please.
Go home. Just go home.
Hi everybody, I'm Peter Travers and welcome to Popcorn, where we tell you what is happening at the movies. And there's a happening now called Maggie, and it has as its star Arnold Schwarzenegger. It's an independent movie. I don't think it cost very much. And even though there's a zombie theme to it, it's really the story of a father and a daughter. And I think that it's the best acting performance I've seen him do. So it's my pleasure to welcome you.
Well, thank you.
What are you doing in an independent movie? This is not you. You're the huge movie star. You do big movies about big epic themes, and this is this small story. How did they get you interested in it?
It was one of the scripts that was blacklisted, which means that it's a very interesting script, but it hasn't been done yet.
Yeah, it's not the McCarthy era blacklist.
No, not at all. No.
No.
And so I read it, and I read it a second time, and I really was impressed with the story, and the agent kept pushing, of course. And then I met Henry Hobson, who is the director, and he was taking me through it and what the idea of it is and the drama. And I realized that if I do this movie, it will be without any doubt the most emotional and the most human movie that I've ever done, and the most human character that I've ever played. And it's also the most human zombie movie that I've ever really been seen. A movie that, to be honest with you, I would not have been able to do maybe 30 years ago. I think that now, having children myself, and to really think about what that would be like if you're a father and you have a daughter that is infected by the zombie virus, and within the next 6 weeks she's going to die, or she has to be put to death with this lethal injection, or in my case that I may have to kill her with a shotgun because it's less painful. So you have these terrible choices.
You're still Arnold Schwarzenegger. You are big, you're strong, you've got a rifle in this movie. None of that does you any good dealing with that girl. None of it.
No, it's a very, very painful process that I go through, and I see my daughter deteriorating slowly. I know the day is going to come where I have to give her this shot. So it's really something that every parent dreads. If you ever get into this situation where you have to bury one of your children, I've gone through it with my parents because I lost my brother when I was very young, when I was in my mid-20s, and my parents, I saw them suffering.
What did he die?
For years, in a car accident. Oh. And so I remember that moment when I was doing some of the scenes in the movie of how much my mother was crying and how much my father was in pain because they lost their child, and they had two, that me and that my brother, and obviously one is gone, and all that. So it was an interesting part to play, and luckily I had a really good director. Henry Hobson was very good, and he had a very clear vision of which way he wanted to take the character.
First-time director.
Yeah, first-time director, but I made it very clear to him, I said, to feel free to tell me exactly what to do.
He wasn't intimidated at all?
In the beginning he was.
Because I would think he would be. If I was the first-time director and I was saying to you, Arnold, do it this way.
Yeah, no, exactly. I remember him going a few times to my assistant and said, I would like Arnold to be a little bit more aggressive on this scene and stuff like that. So, I told him eventually, I said, you got to tell me yourself right then and there. I said, don't be shy, don't worry about it. You can tell me, Arnold, this scene sucked, let's do it over again, and whatever. I said, because in the end, I always care about just one thing, and this is, I want it to be perfect on a screen. How we got to that perfection doesn't matter to me. I said that, I care only about the end product. That's what is permanent, not the problems that we go through on a set and the debates we're going to have and all that.
Well, that's always going to happen, isn't it?
It's always going to happen.
There's going to be some kind of argument, and you've worked 3 times with Jim Cameron, so you know what it is to get down with somebody.
Oh, man.
I think he was born, ready to direct anyone.
Oh, he's ready to direct anyone. And I remember when we were sitting there and we were arguing over the "I'll be back" line.
I'll be back.
I always felt like this "I'll" that sounded weird. I said, "I will be back." I said, that sounds more like a machine. I will be back. And he says, Arnold says, do I tell you how to act? And I said, no. He says, well, then don't tell me how to write. I wrote, I'll be back. I didn't say, I will be back. Otherwise, I would have written it this way. He says, so just say it the way I wrote it.
That could have changed history.
I mean, it was like, it was funny, the arguments we had about some of those lines.
You never know that a line's going to be picked up, or an "Hasta la vista, baby"
You
is
don't
going
know
to be
which,
that line.
no, absolutely not. I mean, I remember any of those lines, if it's "Hasta la vista, baby,"
Hasta la vista, baby.
you shouldn't drink and bake.
You should not drink and bake.
Or if it is when I put the knives through the guy's chest and pinned him against this wooden pole, and they looked at him and said,
Stick around.
or, killing the guy on an airplane on Commander, and the stewardess comes and says,
Don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired.
or for instance, sometimes it even changes as time goes on. Like, no one ever repeated the line,
Get to the chopper!
when the movie came out. And then just very recently, this last 2-3 years, people ask me all the time about saying this line, get to the chopper, because the way I say chopper, it's like that. Oh, it's not a tumor.
What's the matter?
Oh, I have a headache.
It might be a tumor.
It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor at all.
When you came here from Austria, you got told things like, no, your body's too weird, your voice, the accent is just not going to work. Why do you want to be...
And the name,
It's the
remember,
name.
yeah.
And
you're
the name.
You're
Now
absolutely
everybody
correct.
has hard names.
I know,
Everybody
but
is
I mean,
Chuatel,
but it's funny how it all changed.
Yeah.
Because you're right. I mean, I remember when they said, this is Arnold. This is the 70s. This is not the 50s and the 60s. That's when Hercules movies were in and all this stuff, and the he-body. Now it's the 70s. Dustin Hoffman is the big star. Al Pacino. This guy's weigh 150, 160 pounds. Woody Allen. Those are the sex symbols. Not you with this pumped up body here. I mean, it's like, come on. And the name. What is it, Schnitzel or something like that? He says, are you kidding me? He says, I can see that on the poster, you're right. Or on the billboard, and people are going to storm into the theater just because they're going to see Schwarzenegger up there. No, forget it. Why don't you open a gym and relax? Don't forget about this movie stuff. So this is what they all said. So I took, accent lessons and English lessons and speech lessons and acting lessons, and all of those things worked really hard on it, and running around, the fine wine grows on a vine, and the zinc is made out of zinc. And all those kind of lines, because the Germans have different kind of, with the tongue movement also. So the THs, the 3,333 and 1/3, and before that I always said 3,301 33 and 1/3, things like that. So you work on those things, and then slowly, I remember when Lucia Ball called me in the gym, in Gold's Gym, and she says, Arnold, I saw you on a Merv Griffin show. You are so funny. I want you to be on my show. Happy anniversary and goodbye with Art Carney. I didn't even know who Art Carney was. He was then just won the Academy Awards. And Lucy Ball was, of course, this extraordinary woman, actress on television. So she had me come in and read for her, and bang, I got the part. And I did the 7-minute scene as the Italian masseur in her movie, in her television show. And so things started happening. I got the part for Stay Hungry, then Pumping On, and then The Streets of San Francisco, a few segments.
Do you look at your movies?
Yeah, of course I look at the movies.
Go back and look at them?
Yeah.
What's like your 4 or 5 that matter to you for whatever reasons they matter? Not because they made the most money or they were it. What are the ones that you'd put in your own time capsule?
Well, I think that Stay Hungry was a movie that got me the Golden Globe for Best Acting Debut. And I could prove that, I'm not just the body, but that the acting was also good. But then Conan was really the big international breakthrough. And then Terminator. Because Terminator, like I said, I could prove that I didn't have to rely on a body. And that's what got me then all of the other action movies, Commander and Predator and Red Heat and all of those films. And then I was really concentrating on bridging over to comedy. And so Twins was really the important movie then. because it really opened up a whole new field for me, because studios felt like they only wanted to offer me action movies because that was a guaranteed hit.
Yeah.
They did not want to take a risk. So I literally had to do the movie Twins for absolutely nothing. I said, I don't need a salary. You guys take the risk, I take the risk. And we ended up making more money on this, Ivan Reitman and Danny and myself, because we got 37.5% ownership of the movie. So everything, videos and DVDs and the foreign sales and everything, we got this 37.5% that we divided up. So we made much more money than on any other movie,
Yeah,
because
screw Hollywood.
that movie
Yeah,
and you know,
took
and
care
the
of them.
studio said, never again will we make a deal like that. So that was really a sweetheart of a deal. So those were kind of the films that really stick out, that were very important in order to get the kind of career going that I was very fortunate to get going.
Now you've got this fifth Terminator movie that's coming out. And so what was that like to come back to that character?
Well, it's like riding a bicycle.
Really?
It's
So
like,
it was just
it's like
fun.
you connect and you ride back into that character and playing that machine. And of course in Terminator 5, it's interesting because through the time travel, I'm the Terminator, I'm the vicious killing machine, but I'm also the protector, so I can be very good and I can be very, very damaging. So it's like playing, but it's fun playing that character again, and especially now, where you have the ability to do even bigger stunts and bigger kind of scenes because of the visual effects that are available now. So it's really like, it's just a fantastic experience now to be
Well, you
back
were
in
saying
that.
before we went on that, you know, you have a thing where they could use you in the 1984 movie. We can see you naked making that entrance.
Right.
And then coming back and being
Right.
this and moving through time. And we were talking about that thing that they do now digitally where you make faces, right? You have to make faces for a camera so they can keep all your expressions in it?
It is amazing that now you have to go through, you know, endless amount of filming of just facial expressions.
What kind of
where,
faces?
where someone just, you know, sits in front of you right besides the camera, and there's all kinds of cameras all around it, so it captures you from every angle, even from below up, so they see the chin, the neck movement, and the forehead movement, and the side, and everything like this. And then it goes through it. Okay, first out we're going to go through, okay, say, oh, okay, you, E, I, you know, and now let's do this very sad, very happy. You know, and then he goes through this,
So
and
they've
look
got
to the
you.
right,
They
and
can
look to
put
the
you in
left, and look
anything
up
there.
and look down, and they have to do all of those things because they want to record all that, so then the director can then go and play around with your facial expression. Let's say, for instance, there's a scene where he didn't quite get exactly what he wanted from you in as far as facial expression. He can now manipulate after the fact,
It's on the
after you're
computer.
already gone and you're on to the next
Yeah.
movie. They play around with your face and they make the decisions in the editing
It's
room.
kinda depressing,
wise.
Arnold.
And you see the movie
know,
and
I
you say,
have
wait
to
a
do
minute,
it.
I cannot remember ever looking like that.
All right, well, this show always ends in song. And I'm almost intimidated to approach you on it, although everybody has done it. Is there music in your life? Is there a song that you hum? Is there something that your parents sang to you back in Austria?
Oh, yeah, we heard Edelweiss, you know, 1,000 times over, and you know the.
I'll take a little of that. I just need a little something.
Oh, yeah, I can say you don't want me to.
Oh, I
sing.
just want a little bit of it. Oh, I'm
would-
desperate for it. You must have sung to the kids.
No, I don't sing to the kids because
Really? They've never-
they would have started crying. But Edelweiss, Edelweiss, bless my homeland forever.
I
How
love
about
that.
Yeah.
We could remake the Sound of
Okay,
Music.
good, let's do
you
it.
know, thanks to that.
Good,
Yeah,
absolutely,
let's
yeah.
do it.
Good.
Arnold,
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. That
Thank
was so
you.
much fun.